this is your December 2024 soul story. If you have a sun, rising or moon in the sign, then this is your reading. It's Romy here. Thank you so much for all your support and investment over the last 12 months and for tuning into the channel. I appreciate you. We are opening up this month with the energy of the Two of Swords. I think you are going to feel a little bit split down the middle with regards to something. What's really going on for you in regards to this though, Virgo? Maybe there's a deeper storyline that you have to kind of get to the root of that is almost impacting or influencing why you feel you're perhaps not quite ready to make that decision, or that this decision is feeling a little bit tougher for you than you might have expected it to be. I think this month for you is about resiliency of the heart. What is it to be resilient? I think to withstand pressure, to recover from challenging conditions. And I think that your soul is almost wandering back over the last 12 months and in many ways picking up the pieces and the fragments that have felt lost or were discarded along the way. And as you try to make sense of so much, I think that there's this growing awareness that the expansion that's happened is continuing to uproot you in many ways. But at this time of year, there's also this deep desire to want to retreat into the comfort of what is known and what is really understood by you, even if that isn't always necessarily like the healthiest approach or conditions for you. So this split kind of manifests itself in sort of feeling almost at times like you're in that in between, you know, I can't really go back. I'm trying to find closure or resolution around things that have gone on this year. I'm not really where I expected to be or where I need to be or even where I want to be. I know and understand I have to kind of make peace with where I am and find the blessings and the gratitude for so much in my life. So there's a lot of kind of contradictory feelings that are moving through this month. And you know, I am bringing through this analogy for December that at times it feels like there's this thick cloud cover, but the sun breaks through repeatedly in the month. And when it does, you see that clear blue sky, you feel the warmth and the radiance of the sun, and you just get that energy boost. Okay, so in fourth house energy, you know, you are definitely looking at kind of where you belong and what feels like home, and perhaps there's some things going on in the family dynamic, you know, that at this time of year is always amplified. Knight of Wands suggests that there's, gosh, you know, I kind of want to say like adventures that are calling to you. You know, there's something that you feel is almost like impossible to ignore at this time, and maybe it's difficult to even articulate what it really represents to you or really what it's asking of you, but regardless, you can feel it, right? Now, this fire energy with Mars also stationing retrograde in Leo on the 6th is also wanting us to understand how we direct our emotional expression, particularly when it feels a bit more challenging, when we've got frustration, impatience, anger, resentment, and you know, we're not able in a healthy way to really know how to handle that, what to do with it. I think that through the course of the beginning part of December, there's a lot churned up within you, right? And, you know, it means that you have to give yourself a lot of space and a lot of grace, I think, at times for what it is that you're feeling. And again, just I think the kindness is going to be sort of king with regards to this, because I almost sense at times that there's a part of you going, oh God, like I don't, you know, I shouldn't really be feeling this way. But I think you just kind of have to honor that, right? So there is going to be this real confusion, I think, at times as to why you're feeling certain things or why you're being triggered in certain ways. But I honestly feel if you take some time, you're going to realize that there's just something maybe a little bit deeper that's really at the root or at the heart of this for you to understand, okay? And you can get a breakthrough with that. I actually feel that you will. There's something about realizing that there's never really a convenient time with the things that feel or bring about intense discomfort. They're not going away. And so we deal with it now or we deal with it later. And I think because you are feeling such a pull towards this expansion and growth, there's almost this realization that I just can't take everything with me. So therefore, doing something about what is pressing in December will lighten the load quite significantly for you in ways that perhaps you can't even really realize just quite yet. Now, I also feel like perhaps you're having to jump through hoops, you know, and it just feels like a little bit you're not going to be able to please everybody through the course of this month. Isn't it sort of always the way, maybe at this season anyway, but particularly being felt by you in this month of December. So if that is the case, then, you know, maybe there's a point to actually realize that, you know, serving some of your own needs, wants and desires, you know, isn't going to necessarily make anything any worse, because this scenario of people kind of pulling on your energy isn't going away, and not being able to make everyone happy is going to exist regardless. So I see you at times just kind of actually putting your foot down a little bit, which is going to make all the difference as well. I just think having a little bit of a firmer boundary for certain instances through this month of December, particularly in the first half, until your ruling planet goes direct mid-month. I think just allow yourself that space. Now the Fool comes in with that Knight of Wands here. This is this pull. There's just something that's getting churned up within you that you feel, you know what, I didn't get the chance, or I haven't had the opportunity to do this. It's kind of like, if I don't do this now, am I ever going to get the time, or am I ever going to feel ready? Am I ever going to have the courage to be able to pursue or to lean into this? So there's just something that's knocking loudly at the door, right? And it's like, if you ignore it, it's just getting stronger and stronger. There's something about needing to just kind of take a bit of a leap of faith with regards to something. Are conditions ideal? Absolutely not. I'll just be honest. I just think that, you know, you're not actually going to get to a place where you're going to find that everything is balanced enough for you to be able to think clearly enough and really think, you know, things being able to be weighed up in the right way. So there's definitely a sense of just almost kind of slightly shutting your eyes and putting one foot forward and just going, okay, I'm doing this. All right. And, you know, even if that is in the thoughts and in the mind before the physical action actually takes place, although I would go as far as to say I think there might be something specifically in December where you do actually take the step, the physical step, and to initiate something. What I want to say to you though is, you know, it just feels like that amount of energy pulling you isn't wrong. Like you know, you're not misinterpreting that. You are intuiting something that maybe can't be fully understood by you, but is being felt by you so viscerally that in many ways, like you are feeling compelled, and you kind of have to go in this direction, even if situations or conditions are not ideal. Okay, that doesn't mean that you're not going to feel this split though, right? So Venus shifts into Aquarius on the 6th, and then asteroid goddess Ceres moves into the sign on the 7th, and we also have Venus conjunct Pluto and the Sun opposite Jupiter. There's something around this time, particularly around prosperity consciousness, value, material resources, that can come in quite quickly, that can bring about changes, both unexpected and unconventional. Nine of Pentacles suggests that, you know, it could be a bit of an upward swing, or certainly an indication of a breakthrough that you can have in your own thinking and your own mindset. You know, maybe you'll get to the heart or the root of something that's actually holding you back. You know, there's always a gap between who we are now and the version of us that needs to be in place or fully embodied for that future vision that we have to kind of come to life. And I think you're just closing the gap in some way, shape or form around the 7th. So pay attention to what's happening on that date, you know, because it feels like there can be a positive uplift in that moment where the sun breaks through the clouds a little bit. You're very capable, says the Nine of Pentacles. You know, you want to give yourself some credit for what has been achieved and attained, even if others are not able to see or recognize it. Sometimes, you know, you're doing a lot of work, Virgo, behind the scenes, you know, not necessarily seeking the limelight. And if people perhaps truly understood what it took, what it takes, you know, in order to make something look like it's effortless or flowing, or that, you know, everything is made easier for everybody. And I think you are the one that needs to kind of own that and understand the significance of being able to do that. It's almost like through the month of December, as you try to track back and make sense of so much in your life, and you continue to feel this uprooting quality, there's also this realization that actually the gifts that you have, the things that are innate in your essence, in your soul, you're going to take with you wherever you go. So it helps, I suppose, in the kind of revolution that I think is starting to happen, you know, during this fourth house. That's like, you know, wherever I go, there I am, but in a good way. You know, sometimes we talk about that when we sort of have to bring our shadow self, but also it's like you bring the best of you. And I think sometimes you're just not always fully looking in the mirror and realizing the significance of the part that you play or what you bring to the table. Now we've got another 2 coming through here, so like the choices and decisions abound through the course of this month. You're weighing something up and it feels quite precarious. It feels like a bit of a calculated risk. I think that's a very Mars Leo retrograde energy, right? You know, we are perhaps not as impulsive. You know, we want to take some time to kind of really deliberate over things, and that's not problematic, you know, particularly if we're dealing with a Knight of Wands that's urging and pushing and, you know, almost like feeling like he's at our back, just wanting to throw us off the cliff a little bit, right? I do think that there's also this addressing of, you know, what it's going to take. That's what I have, a question that comes through. What is this going to take? And, you know, again, when we talk about resiliency, you know, and the capacity that you have to be able to do the difficult things, to withstand the pressure or the challenges that are surrounding you right now, don't underestimate yourself. That's what I want to say really powerfully to you. Now, it's not always ideal to be operating in a 2 of Pentacles energy, because it can just feel like, again, it's splitting us. You know, we're juggling so much that there's a depletion and a kind of leaking energy that's going on. However, I feel like the 9 here, with a little bit more weight and its advancement, is really having the true conversation of just like, if you do things in the right way by yourself, then you can mitigate some of the issues that come along with what the 2 can bring, okay? And that starts with not underestimating yourself, so be clear about that. I think other people are really in and out, up and down, very changeable, very mutable with regards to things through the course of this month. Again, that can be a source of frustration, particularly if you are quite clear about the direction or the progress or the thing that matters or what's important. But if you find that you're the one that's in that energy of indecision and uncertainty, and you're feeling coerced or you know, sort of challenged by others to kind of make your mind up or to decide, I think, you know, by the time we come around to that full moon in Gemini, having moved through the 12-12 portal, by the way, which is again affording you an opportunity to kind of get a little bit of a leveling up. And, you know, again, I think this is about the closing of the gap in the versions of you, right? You have to become the person that you need to be in order for this future life that you are working towards to happen. Be her or him now. How are they going to act? What are they going to say? How would they respond? It makes a huge difference as you approach that full moon in Gemini. There's a polarizing experience happening at that point. You know, maybe people have incredibly different points of view. You're a bit stuck in the middle, I feel, with regards to something. I'm sorry to say. Mercury direct in Sagittarius will ensure that some of the conversations that have felt very all over the place perhaps land in a more easily understood capacity, you know, but there's revelations coming in and around that full moon that feel like a lot of joining of the dots is also happening. You've got your Three of Cups here. First of all, I want to say there is celebration for you, and that feels really like something you should take the time to stop and actually enjoy and be present with, okay? Try to just give yourself that moment. There might be an awful lot going on, but you need this. You literally need this. I also want to say though, again, we've got this hoops around you, and it just feels like, gosh, there's a bit of entanglement going on here, some sort of situation, maybe family members, maybe friendship, maybe the group that you're a part of. Remember that full moon in Gemini can be a bit gossipy. It can be a bit sort of, you know, spreading a lot of different types of information. And sometimes we have to kind of figure out, well, what is real? What is true here? And there's a bigger question, remember, with Jupiter retrograde in Gemini about how you are processing information, what you make it mean. Nonetheless, like, I feel that there's some sort of interference or outside influence that's also coming up around that moon that I want you to be really mindful of, because it feels like it's going to have you looking at something in a different way, and I'm not sure that that's necessarily healthy or the right way for you to address or to look at it. So again, you need to trust and intuit that bigger energy momentum that's pulling you towards something, and literally find a way to trust in that, okay? So as we shift into Capricorn on the 21st and we welcome solstice, give yourself some time out. Just allow the pause to happen. Something really sacred is going on in your energy field. You might even feel it. You might be very drawn to do something a little bit different. Might be some sort of ritual, or you just, I don't know, it just feels like a new thing you've not done before, okay? And it's just literally coming from spirit. Will be a strong sign, something powerful. And you know, we have a little bit of friction energy on the 24th ahead of the holidays where Jupiter squares Saturn. It's not anything you haven't seen before, is what I want to say. It's like, you know what, it kind of comes with the territory is what they give me. You know how to handle it, and you will, okay? Now Chiron will station direct on the 29th, just ahead of the new moon in Capricorn. It's deeply cathartic. You're aware of the pain point, but at the same token, there's just something about leaning right into it and releasing it, and knowing that finally giving yourself permission to experience something, say something, you know, let something go, then all of a sudden gets this rush of this new energy. There's your Fool and your Knight of Wands. And then all of a sudden you're able to move beyond that Two of Swords, that indecision. And there's a decisiveness that I think really lands quite strongly for you at the end of December. In an ideal world, do you want them on board? 100% you do. Do you need them on board? Not right now. Yeah, and maybe the next first few steps are about you coming to terms with things, and you embodying, and you knowing what it is that you need to do. And everyone else will catch up, is what I want to say. Now, if you're new to the channel, the last 3 cards we look at in the extended reading, we'll talk for another 30 minutes or so. We'll look at a personal and a relationship card, and also a card for the year ahead. So I hope you'll join me if it's resonating. Just going to look at some clarifiers and see where we're going to take this reading, Virgo. Please check out my solstice activation and all my sacred soul support for this time of year. It can be super helpful if you're feeling a little bit spiraling out. You're also aware that my new journal is shipping right now, and you can find the sacred titles, my deck and my book over on romywiser.com. Beautiful gifts for yourself or your loved ones this season. And thank you for all of those who have supported and helped me to bring this to life. And all the decks that I use are always listed below. King of Wands, Chariot. Definitely got this push coming to just uproot. There's just an uprooting quality that I have. That doesn't have to be negative. It just feels like it's almost like a momentum that's helping to bring about a change that's already underway, okay? Life Soul Vision Oracle. Let's have a look. How are we going to add to this conversation for you? Eclipse Revelations, Destiny Speaks. We've got Queen of Air, Light Language. We've got Nourish Your Inner Wealth. We have Alchemize the Ache, a Vortex of Boundless Grace. We've got Waterfalls of White Light. Beautiful. Okay, I'm also just going to look at an oracle, the Soul Call Oracle. This is created by my soul friend, Kelly. What do we have here for Virgo? Bathed in starlight, remember your magic. Okay, beautiful. Virgo, thank you so much for joining me. Just want to give you a very quick preview of the journal that is now shipping. Beautiful soul companion for you. Just a way to work alongside your other diaries and planners, and it's just going to be such a source of comfort and remembrance for you in everything that you're doing in your spiritual journey. So please do check it out. Thank you for being here, for all your support this year. I wish you a peaceful holiday season, and I look forward to seeing you again in 2020.